Breaking news in Nigerian politics. Several PDP governors are rumored to be planning a mass defection, and veteran party leader Chief Bode George is not happy. In an explosive statement, he called this move disappointing and a betrayal of the party's values. But why are these governors leaving? Is the PDP in crisis? And what does this mean for Nigeria's 2027 elections? Stick around as we dive into the full story. You don't want to miss this.
Like we say in my local parlance, when you have an elder in the market, the kids will always be straightforward. Their heads will not be shaking right and left. And I think it's time to tell ourselves some serious home truths. Drifting from A to B doesn't solve the problem. It is the will of the people that will determine. And I'll be very, very happy to go into in-depth analysis where these guys are taking it wrong and messing up, and where the best way to reposition our party to honor the founding fathers of the PDP. They did not flip-flop. They didn't flip-flop. Very disgraceful.
Okay, Chief, well, thank you for joining us. What we hear is that all soldiers are always up and ready all the time. So, as an old soldier, we're glad to host you on the morning show.
We don't retire. We only fade away. We don't retire. We fade away. We will remain telling the truth to power.
But two things, quickly. You were a member of the G5, during the 2023 general election process. Now, Minister Wike is saying that the PDP has faded away and that the PDP cannot win any election in 2027. That's one point. The second one is about the fact that governors are decamping quietly from the People's Democratic Party, and they are now supporting President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So, what do you think of these two issues highlighted in our introduction?
Right. The first issue is saying that the governors are decamping. We're running a system here that is very despicable, very disheartening. A platform that gave you all the necessary tools, the opportunity to represent your constituency. Now, it's about time we revisit this type of system we are running in Nigeria. There was a time when we had President Yaradua. They had some crisis in South Africa. He appointed me and some other. I led the team to wade into the crisis. You remember with Tambo Mbeki and his vice president. It was when we got there that I realized that the system by which they handle their elections is very different from here. For every election, no individual names gets the ticket of the party. It is the party that contests for election. At the end of the election, when they've calculated the number of votes cast and all that, that is when they will now decide, Party A, you had so much, present your presidential man, present the vice president, present this, present that, present the House of Reps and all that, which is the reverse of what we do here. That is why when you say the party is supreme, the party is supreme. I am shocked that a party that gave you the tools, a party that gave you the platform, a party that recognized you to go on their platform, you campaigned on that, halfway to house, you started looking around and flip-flopping and rolling around like a rudderless ship. We're now saying this is 2025. We still got 2 years to go. You are decamping. You are jumping deep. Who knows what will happen? 24 hours in politics is a long time. I'm very disappointed with these governors. Very disappointed, because they got the platform of the party, the backing of the party, and the electorate in their states supported them because of the programs of the party. Halfway house, you are now thinking, oh, I want him to go back. What is it that they have presented? A party, APC, you want me to do the analysis for you? A party, who is the national secretary of the party? They don't have a structure. You hear about Ganduje, the acting chairman. Who is the national secretary of the APC? Who is the national treasurer? Who is the national publicity secretary? Who is the woman leader? They don't have any structure. And you are now leaving a farmed up, solid, like Iroko tree, an oak tree, political oak tree in this country that has all the structure. You are jumping from there and rolling away like a rudderless ship. You can't do that. Okay, because what would history say about you?
Chief Bode George.
Stay fast. Where are you going? What can you say you are you are going there to look for?
Okay.
Come
Chief
on.
Bode George, if I may
I'm so
just
disappointed.
If I may just come in at this point, I think you've raised several major points. So I'll dissect them into two questions. The first being, have you spoken to any of these PDP governors who are said to be thinking of decamping? What are some of the conversations you have had with them? That's number one. Number two, you spoke of the South African system of governance, which is a parliamentary system based on proportional representation. However, even based off of that, currently we see a very, very shaky coalition government that is governing the nation. I'd like to know, based off of this, what is your sentiment? Because we see there's a PDP group who are talking about a grand coalition, and there's a PDP group, specifically the governors, who are saying there will be no merger or coalition. Where do you stand on that?
Yeah, no. Let me try and explain to you. The South African model, young lady, is such that any election, it is the party who goes to contest. After the election, the electoral process will compute the figures made, and they will now ask the party to give the nomination of whom are you sending as president or whom are you sending. So if there is any fracas, the party is supreme. The party has the authority to withdraw your candidature and send you packing. That is why loyalty, dedication, absolute commitment to the party is assured. I saw it. They told us Thabo Mbeki, if he does not align with the party, they called the ANC conference, and he was removed as the president. They withdrew him and sent somebody there. You cannot be on your own and be rolling around like a rudderless ship. That's what I'm saying. Now, I have not discussed. I am shell-shocked. I'm just hearing the comments made by these people. They think the PDP is over, and I'm saying you are jumping from frying pan to fire. What is in APC, for God's sake? Apart from that Tinubu is the president, who is the national chairman of PDPAPC? Who is the national secretary? Where is their structure? You want to go to a political party that has no structure. You got the platform of our party to contest, and now halfway house, you are looking at it on self-aggrandizement or self-interest. You are jumping ship. What about the people that voted for you, that led you there, that gave you all the tools, that we trust you? Go and manage the resources of our land for our benefit. There is so much to be done in the constitution of our country. There's so much to be done in the structure, the operational, the operandi of the parties, the political parties. We can't just be wish-washing and rolling around like a rudderless ship. It is not on. You talk about whether I've spoken with them. Talk to them for what? The party we had a crack. And of course, a divided house will remain a defeated house. We had just started to mend. The meeting by the governors, very sensible. They had proposed certain agenda. That agenda will be taken to the National Working Committee for consideration. It doesn't mean sine qua non. No. It's a suggestion. After that, the NWC will look at it, add or subtract, bring it to the National Executive Committee of the party, which is the next highest body before the convention. We will discuss it, we will debate it. We have a structure, we have an organization, we have a route at which we manage ourselves. But for you, halfway house, with the train moving and you are jumping, you are committing a suicide. How are you sure? When you go to an unknown venture, you think they will still guarantee you? The power of the people determine who is the governor based on the party. It is not for this country. Where, look.
Agreed. I wonder if I could come in here and ask a question. I'm so sorry to interrupt you in the middle of your thoughts. You did actually touch upon this earlier in one of your answers when you talked about, well, the comparisons between Nigeria and South Africa and how they tend to do business. And when we're looking at the South African model,
right?
Yes, they tend to base their model off of proportional representation. Firstly, do you think that the same should be done in Nigeria? And then just on the topic of your disappointment, because you've expressed that from the outset, how disappointed you are in these governors who are tabling the prospect of defecting to the APC. You also just mentioned that a house divided is a house defeated. So as we look ahead to 2027, who do you think should be the person that will lead the PDP's presidential campaign? Who do you think the best person would be at this point?
Oh, you know, my dear young lady, you know, I've been in this game. You know, I was born into a political home. My great-granduncle was the first Nigerian politician, Papa Herbert Macaulay. He formed the first political party in 1922. So I grew up in that house. 24 hours in politics. That's why when you see a thoroughbred politician, you don't go to bed until about 5, 6 in the morning. Because if you go to bed too early, by the time you wake up, all the discussions you have made would have changed. I mean, I didn't go to bed this morning until 5. That's the standard. So what I am saying is that no individual in our party owns this party. Let these people sit down. Forget about your personal ambition. Your personal ambition, you know, no, is there any human being born by a woman that will not pass on one day? There will be an end. The only thing they will remember you for is your impact, positive impact to the development of the people. It is the will of the people that really matters, not your own personal aggrandizement. No.
Who are you talking
Look
about?
At Baba Wolowo.
Is it
Look at the programs he started.
Do you think Atiku should run
so
again,
I'm
or
telling
do you think that
you,
he shouldn't?
No, they should not. What? Okay, those who are now forming a mega party. What is the purpose of that mega party? You are a member of a solid organization. You want to pull out, all right? You are meeting with Baba Buhari, who is he a member of our party? Have you discussed this, your mega something, with anybody else? Do you think it's a private fiefdom? Is PDP a private company? Nobody owns PDP. You bring it between, within the party. Let us discuss it. Once it is approved, then you move. You don't just flip-flop because of your personal ambition. Those who live on personal ambition, you see, look at General Buhari shaking hands with these guys. Is he a member of our party? We presented you against him, and he flopped you like a little kid, and then you are running there. And if you look at the congregation of those who visited Buhari, they are all from one side. Who are the others from our party? No, it's not done that way. In fact, my conclusion was, what is this man trying to do with this mega party? Is he trying to divide Nigeria from the north and then the south? And let me tell you, by the grace of the Almighty God, those who slaved, committed themselves, dedicated themselves for the formation of this party, the founding fathers were selfless, they were committed, they were dedicated. They came up with a concept of operation that will allow all Nigerians to be part of the political process of our nation. What did we do? We are all dancing now on their graves. They gave a standard. The last time they manipulated it, Atiku got the ticket. 2019, he got the ticket. 2023, he got the ticket. Now he's trying to get the ticket again. Is it a private fiefdom? Who was the former president? Was it not General Buhari? Where did he come from? Did he come from Yoruba land or from Igbo land or from... And all we are saying, we have a system. 8 years of presidency in the north, 8 years of presidency in the south. We should come home and work together, not be looking for your personal ambition. Even Wike, I dissociated myself with their group because he was now saying he's going to work with the opposition. I said, I can't do that. I cannot. The day I'm tired of the PDP, I come to my house. That's the way I was born, that's the way I was brought up. Why are you rolling like a rolling stone gathers no moist? So, okay, for God's sake, for God's sake, for the sake of Nigerians, for the sake of the millions of people in the... Look at what this young man is doing in Burkina Faso. Look at what he's doing. Okay. There was something also that came out, the giant of Africa. We, Nigerians, we played so much role liberating the Congolese, trying to bring democracy to Congo. Who stood by Mandela? Nigeria. Who stood in Namibia? Nigeria. Who stood in Sierra Leone? Nigeria. Who stood in Somalia? Nigeria. Who stood in Liberia? Nigerians. Our money.
Chief.
We didn't take anything back.
Chief.
And what have we done now with ourselves?
Chief.
Complete loss of faith, loss of money. And look at these people in the banks. For God's sake, Bola, please wake up. Grab all these bankers. Let them bring their money back. Minimum of 20 billion per person of them. What do they do? What are they producing? With the among us amount of dollars and money they declare as profit, what is their production? Private jets, millions of people. I just lost a friend of mine. He had humongous amount of deposit in his bank. The bank collapsed. What did they do to him?
Okay,
what
Chief.
did they do to him?
Chief.
He's dead now.
Chief.
Why?
Chief.
What is it?
Chief, two specific things. Number one.
Yeah.
I'd like you to return
to
the statement made by Minister Wike that the PDP is in disarray, it's not an electable party, and you say, well, you have parted ways with Wike. You used to be his ally.
Yeah.
But does it make sense to you?
Was his leader?
Well, you were a member of the G5. He founded the G5.
No. I was the leader. Yeah.
Okay. Don't let's split hairs over that. But the point I'm making is that he says that the PDP is an unelectable party in 2027.
Yeah.
Do you agree with him? And why? Why not?
Absolutely.
And then second, South Africa, that you mentioned. No, South Africa, because I need us to dwell on that a little bit, the concept of proportional representation. Now, in South Africa, they have what they call independent candidacy, which was part of the reform during the post-apartheid period. We don't have that in Nigeria, for example.
Right.
Even in South Africa, they are battling with that because it makes coalition politics very difficult because particularly at the local government level in South Africa. Now, what kind of reforms would you like to see going forward in Nigeria beyond, we just borrowing terms, proportional representation, and all of that. What kind of reforms would you like to see that will be to the advantage of everybody? Because that's our own interest as the ordinary struggling people of Nigeria.
Okay. Now, let me start from the issue of the G5. I was not a member of the G5. The G5 were governors. I wasn't a governor. They invited some elders in our party who had been the members who were original members. I was privileged to have been elected at the first elective convention of our party in December 1999. That gave me the opportunity. I was first vice chairman of the Southwest, then I became deputy national chairman South, and I became deputy national chairman overall. So I am still a life member of this party. That's, garnering experience and respectability. That's what has given me this opportunity. Now, when they formed the G5, it was mainly governors, 5 governors. They then realized that there was need for them to invite some elders. I wasn't the only one. Governor Jang of Plateau, retired general too, Professor Jerry Ghana, and some other elders, founding fathers, who were in the same concept of thinking with them about what the party is all about. We joined them. They said I was the chairman of the G5, and there is some other name they called it. Now, but 2 days before the election, we parted ways because they came and suggested that out of the 2 contestants for presidential election, there are 2, that we should zero in on one individual. And I said, no, we can't. We cannot. The 2 are from the South. Let everybody go back to his own state, discuss, debate, and adopt a candidate. That was the last meeting I had with them. And I've not lost my steam, I've not lost my head. And I have no regrets about that. That was the last. And occasionally, I met Wike, I will calm him down as an elder. Yes, he was wronged, but it is not everything that makes the noise. Sometimes you remain quiet. When you need to punch, you punch. It's not every time you keep punching. I told him, calm down. If he doesn't, he's my political son. And so I looked at it and said, if that is the way you guys are thinking, I'm not going to be part of that. Now, our governors also met. They discussed this issue of the agenda because we hadn't had our next meeting for a long time. That is why everybody is thinking PDP is dead. Iroko tree cannot just die like that. An oak tree doesn't die like that. The foundation, the taproot is so deep rooted that it doesn't die.
Chief.
The other construction.
Chief,
yes.
Just a moment. You talked about the supremacy of the party. Now, Wike is telling every Nigerian that the PDP is a toothless party. And you have a constitution. Part of the conditions in that constitution is about anti-party activities. The PDP cannot discipline its own members.
No. You see, we just don't jump out like a rudderless party. There are programs. You just don't make a statement and say, go and sack this, go and sack that. It is not a private fiefdom. It's not a private enterprise of anybody. The NEC has the authority, which is the convention of the party is the highest authority, followed by the NEC. The NEC has not met. You wait. We will bring it up before then. It's not only Wike. What about those who headed out and saying they are talking about mega party? I have said it before in this your program. We will find there that all of them on both sides have committed a harakiri and they cannot get away with it. If we want a party to be respected, a party that people would love, a party they will respect, a party they will adore, we will get back inside there and take an appropriate action. It is not a private fiefdom of anybody. And don't get it wrong.
Okay, Chief.
You cannot just make a statement and say, you fire this, you fire that. We will give them the opportunity to defend themselves. They will come before the neck, and the whole issue on all sides will be discussed. After that, then you can ask your question. Okay, Chief. You will see. That is why some of us are still remaining in the party. Okay, Chief. That's why we are still there. Okay, Chief. The point... Justice, fairness, and equity. Okay, the point I raised about electoral reform. What kind of reform would you like to see? Because that's part of the conversation. Sure. And you kick-started it by drawing attention to South Africa. Yeah. I am saying the system we are running, the electoral system we are running, it's completely hopeless. The procedure by which our people emerge doesn't give them the opportunity to have respect for the rules of the party and respect for the party. South Africa's system, I'm not saying it's the ultimate, but it's still much better, because you know for real that if you mess up, the party can withdraw that candidature from you, take it away from you, and kick you out. They did that to a president. So they have independent. Cannot get that. No, sir. But they have independent candidacy in South Africa. Even if you have independent candidate, how many of them have been able to make any headway? They knew where they came from. You forgot in the 20s when the apartheid thing was raging. That was the birth of the union. We didn't have that. The British, when they left here, left us with two evils: tribalism and religious bigotry. Have we gotten rid of those two madness? No. While we're on this point, we need to sit back. While we're just, so that we can really unpack some of the merits and demerits, what we currently find in South Africa is a shaky coalition, and that's because one party was unable to get an overall majority to run the government. So, given the statistics we've seen in past Nigerian elections, there's no party in recent times that has been able to get 50% plus one of the electoral vote. So now, aren't you advocating for something that's a recipe for chaos? Because in essence, what you will need is a coalition government, a government of national unity. My dear young lady, my dear... No, my dear young lady, it is not. It is not. The electoral process you are running in this country, where even despite the fact that President Buhari bought a brand new technology into managing the electoral process, can't you see the filth? Can't you see the rubbish, the cheating, the illegality proposed and pronounced during these processes? That is the time you will hear, I am a computer engineer, that there is a glitch. How can you have only one route? And there is a glitch. And the company that sold it to us said there was no glitch. We switched off the system. This same system was used in Ghana here. Before the end of the results of the election, the government, the president of the ruling party said they had lost and accepted. Not in Nigeria. Why? What is wrong with us? What is wrong? We have the best brains. We have everything that is good. Why can't we? The human resource in this country, the natural resources, what is it that we cannot do anything that is right? And we are all pronouncing ourselves tribe this, tribe that, religious this. What has those things got to do with the price of milk? Love your neighbor as yourself. God didn't tell us love your Yoruba man as yourself or love your Hausa man as yourself. Anybody who is your neighbor, you love him. What you will not accept, don't do it to anybody else. We are drifting very badly. Look at the poverty in the land. Look at the anger in the land. Look at the insurrection in the land. What is wrong with us? Why can't we take a cue? Where is that giant of Africa? We are telling people, sit down, revisit. 2014, President Jonathan presented a committee. We had a whole constitutional conference. We had revisited. We wrote the report. The report is ready. General Buhari said, keep it in the archives. Bola came, kept it in the archives. Up till today, nobody has visited it.
Okay, Chief, we are running out of time.
David Mann, who was president of the Senate at that time, didn't do anything.
Do you want us to end the conversation with a very, very quick question? I know in the early parts of this interview, you talked about how, obviously, under Buhari, there were 8 years of his leadership representing the north of this country, and now we're approaching the halfway mark of a southern administration. So if we are, again, looking ahead to 2027, right. I know that you represent different political parties, but do you personally have anything against Bola Ahmed Tinubu securing a second term and then, therefore, representing the South for a second term? Very briefly, sir.
Listen, you know, that's why you have political parties. You have ideologies. I just told you. The APC is a congregation of strange bedfellows. They don't have a structure. Apart from Ganduje being paraded as acting chairman. Who is the national secretary of APC? Who is the national treasurer of APC? Who is the woman leader of APC? National. And then come down to the states. Who are the chairmen? They don't have a structure. Only one man says, Eminimoni, it's my party. Is that the party you want Nigerians to do? Is it now a private fiefdom? No. Our party, yes, we had a crack. I am saying we have learned a lesson. All these people dancing all around the place, the next meeting we have, we put our home in order. And that's when I will be affirmatively confirm to you that yes, we are ready for 2027. We have competent, loyal, dedicated, experienced Nigerians who can manage the resources of this country for the betterment of the people, not for the betterment of their families, not for the betterment of their children. No, that's not governance. And that's why we are saying, compare us, a congregation of strange bedfellows, that is what you call APC. No. Why would our own strong members be heading to meet the leader of an opposition party? In any sane country, they will be fired. The same thing, Bola Tinubu told Iwike, go and deliver the FCT to APC. He didn't say no. It is equally animalistic. No. You either belong here, commit yourself to the party here, or you ship out. There's nobody that is fixated and say it is my own. So damn what? Your own like what? We will tell them, because we were the first to be elected, and those old men handed over the dictates, the reforms, the procedure of managing the resources of this country for the betterment of the people. Please.